She's Aya, and yeah, let's load our game and go on where we stopped last time. We are on the hunt for the people who kind of burned down our house, and they are in some way connected to Aya. So let's find out. Mr. Manager is interrupted by the tiny sound of a cell phone ringtone.
Yeah? Look, I told you not to call me at this number. Yeah. Okay, fine. But next time, could you at least...
He cuts himself off with a frustrated sigh. Whoever it was must have hung up on him.
Alright, rookie. Time for your first test. You hold the fort while I go take care of a few things.
What things? Anything I should know about?
No, just things. Look, all you gotta do is sit around here and mind your own business until I get back. Don't touch anything. I won't be long.
Okay. I hear footsteps fading to another part of the room, and then Aya bursts out of the wall beside me.
Did you get all that, Zach? The guy in charge is leaving. Let's follow him. Maybe he's going somewhere else important. I'll stick close to him. You follow from farther back.
Again. As if I have a choice. She zips around to the front of the building while I begin to laborious process of hauling myself to my feet. I start to instinctively dust off my pants a bit before it occurs to me that it doesn't matter. My clothes are going to get covered in dirt no matter what I do these days. By the time I make my way around to the front of the house, that man I'd recognize anywhere is ducking into the driver's seat of a sleek black car in what looks like a visitor's parking lot. Aya shouts from in between the two of us.
He's getting in his car. Should I mean, I could try to follow him, right? I could try to get in the car, but how would I contact you? And you'd be on your own without your lookout.
She trails off as the car pulls out, almost driving straight through her on its way out into the street.
Don't worry about it.
You sure? Maybe you could just keep hiding, and I'm sure he'd drive back here eventually, and then I could...
Don't worry about it.
I sound a little more bitter than I was expecting to as I repeat myself. But the more I think about this whole situation, the more it feels like we're in over our heads. We are one boy who can barely walk and one ghost who can't interact with physical objects. How are we going to disrupt the operations of an entire criminal organization? We got lucky once with Mr. Kid in that alleyway. That doesn't mean we'll get lucky again.
Okay. You're right. Let's focus our plans on this hideout here. I can go back in and try to learn the layout. And then we can keep watch and figure out the bad guys' routines and find the optimal time to sneak in and investigate some more.
I sigh.
I don't know. I'm tired.
Well, you can just hang out in your hiding spot, and I can...
I'm so sick of hanging out in hiding spots. Can we come back here later? Let's just find somewhere to rest.
Which I guess is effectively another hiding spot. But at least it might be one where I can lie down on a non-dirt surface and where there's more than just a brick wall separating me from people who want to kill me. Aya's face falls for a few moments, but she soon recovers back into a smile.
Good thinking, Zach. We can be more confident about the success of our operation if we have our own hideout to return to in case of emergency. And then you can take a rest there. And I can go look around for where there might be some stores and stuff. So then if we need more food, we can...
She drifts toward the sidewalk, happily running through more plans for preparations. But I'm barely listening anymore as I gingerly limp after her. It's all starting to sound like a fantasy with no real purpose. Just a way to pass the time by pretending we are doing something important until all our problems catch up with us for good. Ah, he gets really tired of this. Like depressive.
Hey! Hey, Zach! Wake up, sleepyhead.
Huh? Aunt Claire?
Who else would be waking you up, kid? You get a new roommate I don't know about?
My aunt's face swims into focus in front of me and my tears well up in my eyes. It takes me a disorienting moment to realize why I'm crying. Then it hits me. She's gone. This is a dream. It has to be, right? She's dead, probably. Dead people don't just show up and talk to you. Other than Aya, I guess.
You okay?
I wipe the tears away with the back of my hand.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Either way, if this might be my only chance to talk to her, I don't want to bring something sad like that up. I want to make the most of it, even if it isn't real.
You sure? You know I'm here to talk if anything's wrong, right?
Yeah, I know.
My voice cracks as I do my best not to start crying again.
Okay, good. So what have you been up to, kid? I feel like we haven't talked in a while.
Where do I start?
Been traveling with my friend Aya. You remember her? From the hospital?
Yeah, sure I do. You used to talk about her all the time. I'm glad you're still in touch. Where have you been traveling?
Oh, just, around. It's been kind of spontaneous. It's stressful sometimes, but Aya is always calling it an adventure.
Man, I've been there. I used to spend tons of time traveling around for my work, remember?
Of course I remember.
My good jet-setting aunt, always bringing home new souvenirs and stories about all the exotic places she'd been. Her visits were some of the highlights of my childhood.
It was great sometimes, but it could be a lot to handle, too. Especially when I never knew how long I'd be staying somewhere, or when new opportunities might come up. It can get lonely, being on the road all the time, not really having somewhere to call home.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But there's a lot of valuable life experience you can't get any other way. Especially when you're young, you know? Sometimes you have to go around the world just to find yourself.
It's interesting how Claire's speaking kind of changed in the stream. It's like more distant, more robotic, less emotional.
Find myself, huh? I haven't really been thinking about it that way. I've been too worried about other stuff.
To say the least.
Yeah, that sounds about like how it usually goes. You don't realize you're finding yourself until you already have. I remember one time when I was in my 20s, I was talking with a few friends who had been all kind of having a rough time lately. One of them had just had a bad breakup. Another really hated her job. Stuff like that. So I was doing my best to comfort them. And then one of them said something like, "Thank God we have Claire here to take care of us all. Claire is the only one who has her life together." And that sounded insane to me for a second because, I was so used to thinking of myself as a mess, you know.
Feel her.
I had been a broke art student, making a series of questionable life decisions for ages.
Feel her.
But then I realized she was right. I had a job. I had plans for the future. I was doing okay. I didn't even know I was doing okay until someone else pointed it out. Weird, huh? But that's how it goes.
I smile sadly at the mental picture of a younger version of my aunt figuring her life out and hanging out with her friends. I wonder if I'll ever get to the point that she did.
Yeah, I think I might still be at the mess stage. Mentally and physically.
Oh, dude, yeah. How's your leg? Doing any better?
It's funny. It doesn't actually hurt right now. I've barely thought about it for this whole conversation, but that's a rarity.
Not great.
That's rough, kid. It sucks having injuries hold you back from doing what you want to do. I hope you can take some time to rest and recover more soon. Once you've gotten whatever you need from your travels.
I hope so too.
But it's hard to imagine that ever coming true.
Oh, and how's your friend Aya doing? I don't remember what she was in hospital for, but she was there for a long time, wasn't she? Does traveling ever get tough on her too?
I don't know.
Those are some difficult questions to answer.
Her problems aren't exactly physical.
If anything, the biggest issue for her is her complete lack of a physical body.
So I think it's a lot easier for her to get around places. I don't know if she always understands how hard it is for me. She gets all kinds of great ideas about places we should go that just aren't going to happen. But I know she has her own struggles too.
I know she must get lonely with no one else to talk to. No one else who even knows she's there. And all those unanswered questions about who she is and why all of this is happening to us.
Well, maybe the two of you should talk about it more. You could help each other out.
Huh? I guess that was why I set out on this journey in the first place, wasn't it? Before Aunt Claire. I wanted to help Aya. Because she had helped me. Because she's my best friend. And I know she's trying to help me too in her own way. Maybe there are aspects of our experiences that we'll never share. That we'll never quite get about each other. But we can do our best to try.
Yeah, you're right. We do help each other, I think.
On Claire beams.
That's great. I'm so glad you have such a good friend after everything you went through. It's important to have someone to be there for you. Someone other than your boring old aunt, anyway.
Her oblivious, cheerful grin grows even wider and my breath catches in my throat. The tears are rolling down my cheeks before I can stop them.
And Claire?
I can't hold back anymore. Even if none of this is real, even if I won't get an answer that means anything, I still have to ask.
Where are you right now?
Oh, sorry, I'm bursting out in tears right now. Maybe this game gets really hard on me, emotional, in some ways. Whew. My aunt responds with the same incredulous expression that she used to give me whenever I talked to her about video games. Or internet humor, or anything else she didn't understand.
What do you mean? I'm here with you, kid.
She smiles. And then I blink. And then she's gone. Again. And then I wake up.
Hey, Zach! Are you okay?
Sunlight steps into my eyes, filtered through the translucent image of my friend leaning over me.
Huh?
So they stayed in the neighborhood, huh? I blink a few more times and rub my head. I'm curled up under a tree in a park near Abercrombie Avenue, and my whole body feels stiff from the position I was sleeping. I stretch my bad leg out and grimace.
Are you awake?
Unfortunately.
Oh, I was worried about you. I was just keeping watch, and then I noticed you were kind of mumbling a lot in your sleep, and I think you were crying.
Yeah, I am too. I move my hand to my cheek and feel a moist residue that confirms your suspicions.
Were you having a nightmare?
Was I? I shut my eyes tightly and try to remember.
No, not really. It wasn't a nightmare. It was just sad. But it was kind of nice, too.
What did you dream about?
Aunt Claire. Just talking to her. Like nothing was wrong. I miss her so much.
Tears start welling up in my eyes again.
I miss everyone, Aya. And I'm in pain all the time, and I'm scared, and I want to go home. I just wish I could go home.
Hey.
Sorry. I need to get my shit together. It's really sad at the moment. Her voice is soft and she brings her hand to my cheek as if she could wipe the tears away. The chill of her ghostly fingertip is soothing in the heat of the sun.
Me too. I wish we could both go home. And I'm sorry you're in pain. I guess I forget that sometimes. I wish there was something I could do.
Thanks.
I sniffle embarrassingly and rub my eyes.
But you're doing all you can. There's no home for us until we figure out why these guys are after us and what they want. So let's get them.
Yeah!
Aya springs up into the air as I do my best to slowly rise myself out of the dirt.
Let's get you some coffee and breakfast. That'll make you feel better. There's a little bakery on the street that looks really good.
Okay? Okay. Just let's head over there slowly, okay?
You've got it, boss.
Aya grins and waits patiently as I make my way to my feet and take my first lurching steps forward.
And after breakfast, we can do some more reconnaissance. There aren't too many of those shady guys, right? We've only seen 4, including the new guy who says nobody's doing, and the 2 are probably in jail right now. That bald guy is the biggest threat, and he's not at the hideout all the time. If we keep an eye on him and learn his routines, I bet we can find an opportunity to sneak in and get some more information. No problem.
Yeah, I bet we can.
Aya keeps talking about our plans and I try to respond with at least a little bit of enthusiasm. But I can't help being distracted by the memories of that bittersweet dream I had about my family. The details of it are fading in the morning light, no matter how hard I try to cling on to every word the apparition of my aunt said. I guess that's inevitable with dreams. But there's one thing I can still hear her tell me as clear as day. I'm here with you, Git. Real or not, those words give me the strength I need to keep walking. Oh. Poor Zack. With plenty of extra snacks in hand, Aya and I settle in for a long day of surveilling the hideout of our sketchy friends. Her assessment of the situation turns out to be pretty accurate. No one except Mr. Manager and his new trainee show up all morning. According to Aya, who has a better view from inside the apartment, Mr. Manager seems to just drop by, to check for messages on that tablet of theirs and give the new guy some tips once in a while. The new guy appears to be consigned to lookout duty, and he just sits around all day not doing much. Aya says she thinks she spotted him playing a gacha game on his phone for a little bit, The long day winds on, and Aya and I find ourselves getting at least as bored as he must be. Aya tries to entertain me for a while by summarizing the plots of the John Sinclair series. When she reaches the point where she last left off before we had to leave home, she starts making stuff up about the detective's continued adventures. Her version is a lot more chaotic than the established canon, but it's also pretty fun. We still keep an eye on Mr. Trainee as we while away the time, and we start to notice that he's taking increasingly long and frequent cigarette breaks. He must be getting sick of sitting around in that stuffy basement. I'm not sure if it even has air conditioning. So he keeps going out the front entrance and then taking his time smoking, pacing around the driveway and messing around on his phone some more. I start to wonder if I might be able to sneak in there and do some more investigating while he's out front. Aya can keep watch and let me know when he's on his way back. The entrance to the apartment even goes into a little stairwell first before the basement door. So it will take him a minute to get back in, and I'll be able to hide if I have to. Trying to keep quiet while he's in there with me sounds terrifying. It's definitely a last resort. But hopefully it wouldn't be too long before he goes outside again and gives me the opportunity to escape. I talk it through with Aya in a whisper, and she agrees that it sounds like a good plan. I'm not sure if this is really a good plan. It sounds more rushed. She's practically vibrating with excitement when about half an hour later she gives me the head-ups that our nicotine-addicted buddy is making his way to the door again. Alright, here we go. I can do this. The biggest problem is going to be dealing with the ultimate nemesis, windows. At least this one is close to the ground and it's already open because of the hot weather. Lying on my stomach in the dirt, I heave the screen aside and crawl through. In retrospect, I don't know if going through headfirst was the best decision, but I really didn't want to land on my bed leg again. My arms are a little sore from hitting the concrete floor, but I think it was a slow and short enough fall that there won't be any lasting damage. At least I managed to protect my head. I scan the sparsely furnished room as my eyes adjust to the dim light. There. The tablet thing Mr. Manager was talking about. I bet it's got all kinds of information. But of course, when I pick it up, I'm only greeted by a lock screen asking for a code. What was that guy said about the password again? Something about it changing every day? But then, how do they remember it? There must be a note somewhere, or a system, or a keyring sitting on the table I retrieved the tablet from catches my eye. There are a few weathered-looking keys on it, but more importantly, there's also some kind of grey, rectangular object hanging off it. And on that object is a black button and a little screen. I press the button and a series of numbers pop up. Of course, this must be the code to unlock the tablet. It's one of those two-factor authentication things. I tap the same number into the tablet and the lock screen fades to reveal a list of a few apps. Yes! Let me see. There's what looks like some kind of messaging app, and then there's settings and documents. Maybe the documents would have the most revealing information about what's going on here. But just as I tap the button to open the list,
Zach!
Aya comes swirling through the wall toward me.
He's on his way back! Hide!
cover my mouth to shut myself from instinctively letting out a colorful expression of shock and annoyance and drop the tablet back on the table. Thinking quickly, I hit the lock button so that Mr. Trainee here won't realize something is amiss.
The bathroom. You can hide behind the shower curtain.
I can hear footsteps coming down the stairs as I follow Aya's instructions. Hobbling through the bathroom door as quickly as possible and climbing into an old yellowed bathtub, janking the curtain shut behind me. Outside the bathroom door, Mr. Trainee sits down in his chair and sighs.
Okay, good. Doesn't look like he noticed anything.
Aya reports from the main room where I can't see her. A moment later, I hear the faint and tiny sound of some cheesy music.
He's playing his gotcha game again. I think we're safe.
Aya floats into the bathroom and hovers next to me.
Wow! This bathtub looks disgusting.
Thank you. But nice picture. I raise my eyebrows and shrug. It's not like I had any other
I
choice.
wonder when someone last cleaned it. Ugh. Probably like 5 years ago.
Yeah, sounds about right. I sit in silence for a while in the cramped bathtub, nothing but the barely audible music from the trainee's phone is to entertain me. At least it lets me know he's engaged in his little game and not coming in here to use the bathroom. Maybe he'd bring his phone with him if he did, and I'd hear the music getting louder. Not that it would really help at all, since I don't have anywhere else to hide. It would just be a little advance warning that I'm about to die. Also, maybe I could get a jump on him if I had to. If I knocked him down, he'd hit his head pretty hard on this concrete floor. Would that give me enough time to escape out the window? Or the stairs? Would that be faster? Maybe not. Maybe not with my leg and everything. I don't know. Thinking about this is only making me nervous. Aya looks nervous too as she flits around the room, poking her head out through the wall occasionally to check on the guy outside.
You know,
She addresses me as she continues what I would probably call sorry. What I would probably call pacing if her feet could touch the floor.
this actually kind of reminds me of the basement at my house. My old house, when I was a kid. You saw it. The stairs, at least. It wasn't quite this gross, but it was the same kind of unfinished concrete. And it had a spare bathroom as well as a washer and dryer, and a cool cellar and stuff.
I can't respond to her, of course, but I'm glad she's talking anyway. Maybe it will keep my mind off my predicament.
I was so scared of it when I was little. It was so dark and creepy, and the washer and dryer made such weird sounds.
Yeah, that's normal, I guess.
I used to hang out with this guy who lived down the street. What was his name? Daniel? Dylan? Declan? Something like that. I remember bits and pieces, you know? It comes back, gradually.
As fragmented as her memories might be, it's nice to see her being able to reminisce a little bit.
Anyways, we were always daring each other to go down there. And competing to see how long we could stay at the bottom of the stairs. Before we got too freaked out and had to run back up, you know? Kid stuff.
Yeah, I remember doing things like that with some of my childhood friends. One of them had the rest of us totally convinced that his house was haunted. It took me years to figure out he was just making those stories up. Then again, now that I've met a real ghost, maybe I shouldn't jump to conclusions.
It was fun. Usually. But one time he was mad at me for some reason. I think maybe I wouldn't let him play with the cool action figure my dad gave me for aid. Anyway, I went down into the basement and then he slammed the door on me and ran away. I was so scared. I thought a monster was going to get me and I was going to die. I cried.
I don't know whether to feel bad for baby Aya or laugh at how silly it all seems when you are not a kid anymore. Well, I guess I shouldn't laugh out loud if I want to survive.
I guess maybe what I'm getting at here is you're handling the situation way better than I did.
I cover my mouth again as the conclusion of the story puts me in genuine danger of at least letting out a chuckle.
Oh!
Aya peeks through the wall again and then pops out on my side with a look of joy and surprise.
He's going outside again.
That really didn't take too long. That guy must love his cigarettes.
Get ready. He's headed to the door. And now.
I do my best to spring into action. It's not very cool or elegant, considering that I'm stumbling out of a disgusting bathtub with one of my legs not working right, but at least it's fast. I probably only have a few minutes to get out of here before he comes back. I grab the tablet and shove the keyring with the code for it in my pocket. It's dangerous. He'll probably notice it's gone as soon as he comes back inside, but I don't know what else to do. It's the only way I have of getting some kind of information and making all of this worthwhile. As quickly as I can, I slide the tablet out the window and then begin the process of pulling myself out after it. My arms are burning as I struggle through, but my fear and lack of other options spurs me on. As soon as there's dirt beneath my feet, I grab my bag and cane from where I left them, shoving the tablet in the bag as I go.
We gotta get out of here now, Aya.
I mutter as quietly as I can, even though it might not make much difference. Mr. Trainee might be returning to the basement and noticing the missing tablet right now.
Over here. We can hide in the bushes on our way back to the bus stop.
Lead the way.
Doing my best to ignore the pain in my leg, as always, I hobble through the same backyards that Aya and I traversed when we first came here. Was it really only yesterday? My heart is pounding and I keep expecting something to happen to indicate that I'm about to be caught. Like some alarm is going to go off or something, and I'd be blinded by a helicopter searchlight. But realistically, I guess all that's going to happen is that Mr. Trainee will call his boss and ask him what to do. He's probably getting yelled at on the phone right now. Maybe he even get fired. Poor guy. No reference from Murder Inc. on his resume when he applies for his next hitman job. Aya and I are lucky. There's a bus just down the street as we finally reach the stop. I'm a little worried that the driver will be suspicious of a lone teenager all covered in dirt getting on the bus in a way more expensive part of town than he belongs in. But he barely gives me a second look as I show him my student card and collapse into the closest seat. I guess he figures it's none of his business.
Woohoo! We're safe! You did an awesome job, Zach!
I can't help but smile. The relief of being on a bus that will take us back to more familiar places and away from the Murder Inc.'s satellite office is almost drowning out the pain and concern. Stretching out my leg into the aisle of the bus, I slide the tablet out of my bag and enter the latest code from the keyring.
Ooh, what do you think is on there? Evil plans?
Aya hovers over my shoulder with enthusiasm and I peruse the files for anything that looks like it might contain some answers.
What's that? Open that one!
Aya points to a text file titled Initial Instructions. Sure, why not? I have to start somewhere. I tap the file icon and lean in to read the text that fills the screen. You don't know me, and you don't need to, but I'm the head of a vital research division poised to reshape the future of mankind. I will shortly communicate to you further details regarding some rather uncooperative employees. Their threats to the secrecy of my work pose a danger to my groundbreaking experiments, and by extension to all of humanity. I need them out of the way for good, but I also need it to look like an accident. I suggest that after ensuring their complete inability to threaten my work further, you find a way to cover up the true nature of their demise. Perhaps, if I may be so bold, a fire? I gasp out loud when I reach the final line of the strange missive. Can tell without even turning my head that Aya is just as shocked as I am. Something about the ghostly aura that surrounds her face even colder than usual. Her feels even colder than usual. I know what we are both thinking. It means something terrible to both of us. The word fire. And even more than that, we've just uncovered what sounds like instructions to set a fire on purpose and to commit murder. Suddenly, after days of going around in painful circles, I feel like we might be on a cusp of discovering the reason for everything that happened to us. And I don't know if I'm really ready for it. I guess all I can do is find out. Ooh. So I will stop this part here. Because cliffhanger, we got really far into the game, and it feels like we soon will be at the ending. This game has like 2 endings, and I hope we get a good one. So yeah, everyone, I hope you stay with me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see how it goes on, and we see each other next time. Until then, bye bye. Nein. Nein.